You might have watched my last video about creating a visitor registration app using Power Apps with Copilot. Now today we're going to do the same thing again but with the Power Pages. And this is what it looked like. We try to mimic all the functionality we have delivered with the Power Apps, but now with a website. So if you click on register now, it will take you to the registration page. It is fully responsive, but obviously it's a website, it's not a Power App anymore. And if you go search, you can do a internal staff search here that brings up all your users within the company. And you can upload your photos as well. So let's have a look how we built this. When you log into the Power Pages, you should see the same Copilot window in the middle of the screen. So let's say we want to create a website that captures visitor registration. So again, at this initial prompt, I like to keep it simple, keep it basic. Because we are building the same environment where I built the Power Apps, I'm going to use the same Dataverse table which we already built and used in the Power Apps. We can use the same data table as the data source for this Power Pages website. So pick a unique name and just go next. Copilot will give you a couple of initial layout. Pick the one you like, but we just pick a basic one. That's fine. We're gonna remove all these components that we don't need. So just go next. You can try again, but at this stage, the template that Copilot generates is very limited. So I've tried a couple of times. There's not much difference. And what we do want to add at this stage is maybe a login page, so a authenticated user can log in and modify the record for the registered users. So let's do that. And hopefully it will give us a login in the navigations as well. So click on done. I'll give a couple of minutes. If this is the first time you are doing this, it might take a bit longer. As you can see from my home screen, my homepage, I already built this site a couple of times, so it shouldn't take us too long. So after about 2 minutes, the website has been created, just a very basic shell. Let's hide this Copilot window. Okay, so you have a home page with a couple of stuff that we don't probably need. And it says had a login page created. Now, is that actually a login? Well, there's no login. Oh, okay, there's a login there. So let's preview and see actually login will take you to the logins. So you're gonna click on preview, click on desktop. So make sure every time you make some changes in this design studio, if you want to see the changes, don't just go refresh the page. You kind of come here to the preview and then click on desktop. That will refresh the page for you. So I've got a page open here already and hasn't been refreshed. So let's click on review and desktop again. So let me close the old one. That was the one I built previously. So every time you click on that preview button, it will reload the window with the latest configuration you've made. So let's go to login. It's actually just a page called login. It's not the actual login we're looking for. If you click on the login, doesn't do anything. That's okay. I just want to show you guys what it's like to create a website with Copilot. So there's not much being done correctly here, but we can fix that one by one. Now, as a device, you're probably gonna leave at a reception area for the visitor to register. You do want them to come to the device and just see this homepage say register. And when they click on register, I want to take them to the registration page. So let's add a registration page. So the way we're gonna do it is you can use Copilot to do that. Let's actually try the Copilot. Otherwise, I'm just gonna use this add page to do it. It's pretty simple. But let's try what Copilot can do, right? So let's say add a new registration page and see what it would do. Now, while it's creating that, I'm going to show you the data for this website. So click on the data on the left, and okay, we looks like I have to wait for the Copilot to complete. Okay, so seems like it's completed. Let's have a look what this new registration page look like. So welcome to our registration page. It's pretty much useless. It's just like our home page. This is the home page. This is the registration page. But that's fine. That's fine. All we need to do is insert a form here for the registration. So we can just get rid of this bit. Let's actually, it's easier to do this, right? You can use Copilot as well, but I don't think there's you don't gain anything. So I'm just deleting all these components that I don't need for our registration page. So these are like module. It's a bit like SharePoint. So when you highlight, you get the 3 dots and just go delete the whole sections. All right. So here, all we need to do is to add a form. But we're not going to do that. First, we need to fix up our data source. So let's go to the data and have a look at the table we're going to use. Now, the Power Pages Studio has improved quite a bit over the past 12 months. In the past, you won't be able to use edit access Dataverse table directly within this Design Studio, but now you can. So in the past, you have to leave and go to Power Apps to do that. But now, see all these tables in the Dataverse for your environment here, they all appear under this other table. Now there's no table associated with our website yet, but that's fine. So the table we're going to use is the same table we used when we built our Power Apps. And the name is called Visitor Registration. So let me click on that. Because the backend data should be the same, we're just building 2 different solutions, one using Power Apps, another using Power Pages. That's why I decided to use the same table, just to save us a bit of time, and it shouldn't matter what UI you use, right? Whether Power Apps or Power Pages. In the end, you should deliver the same data to our table, which is capturing registrations for the visitors. Now, I won't go through all these table columns. If you're interested, you can watch my last video, but they're just some basic information. Visitor name, where they're from, who they're visiting, blah, blah, blah. So next, we're going to create a view that will be used for our list, aka the gallery later on. So you go to the views and just go new view and give it a name. I'm going to call it VR2, just my prefix. And you go create. Now to create your view is very simple. You just need to click on this add column, and this will show up all the table columns that's available for you to add to your view. Now as a gallery or the list view, I do not need every single column, every single data to be displayed at my list. So I'm just gonna pick a couple that I need. Maybe I pick the name, the company, who they're visiting, do the check-in time, and who they're visiting. So staff search, I'm going to explain this one later on, but this is basically you pick up who you're visiting, and it's a lookup to your internal Active Directories. So it's very simple. If you want to change the order, just drag and drop, and when you're done, just click on Save and Publish, and your view will be ready to be used in your list. Next, let's do the forms. So click on the forms, and also notice when you're doing playing with your data here, the Copilot option is not available yet. Okay, so we're going to create 3 forms. Let's call it VR2, and this first one, let's go new form. Now, for the form is to capture the information you want to feed back to your data table. So I need to grab all the data columns. So I'm gonna go to the add field. Oh, actually, it knows that it actually already pre-filled all the columns I need. So that's good. Just gonna add one more thing, is the staff search. Click on that and it should be down here. Staff search. Let's move it up. So just drag and drop and go save and publish. Now we're gonna do the same thing for the add form and display form. So our new form for the VR2 is created. Let's go to the form again and do our add form. So VR2 add form and I'll go create. Again, we're just gonna add a staff search column to it. Save publish, and we will do the display form. Now you must say this three form looks exactly the same. You're right, they're exactly the same at this stage. Later on, we're gonna change the mode for each form. So new form will be a new mode, the other one will be edit mode, and the other one, display form, will be a view only mode. So we're gonna do that in a different area, which I'm gonna show you after this shortly. Before I show you how to set up these three forms further, let's try Copilot. So go back to the pages and go to our registration page. I'm just gonna rename this, make it a bit simpler. Let's call it registration. Go OK. Now you can use Copilot, of course, but what's the point, right? Now let's try use Copilot insert a form on this page. So let's bring up the Copilot and just say insert a form using, which is the name of the form. Oops, that's my cat. What's the name of our form? We'll go to our data under the forms. So notice our table is still not associated with the website yet because we haven't added yet. So select it under your other tables. What I'm gonna do is just gonna copy the name of this table back to our Copilot. Insert a form using, see what happens. So as you can see, the Copilot has just initiated this creating new form with a screen, and created some random form field, which just ignored our actual form. So that's okay. Let's cancel that. And what we're gonna do, we're just gonna delete this sections you added for us. Hide the Copilot. So we're just gonna click on these three dots and then go a form, and we will select a form that's the new form we just created. So don't use the Copilot here anymore. Let's go to new form here, and the table is gonna be the visitor registration table. So this is when you're gonna associate the Dataverse table to your website. Now asking me to select a form. So the form we just created, see the three form we just created, we're gonna use this new form, this new form, to associate with our new form on the web page. Before we click on OK, we'll go to the data. See the mode for this form is create a new record. That's good. On submit, we want display message. That's fine. Capture, usually turn that off. And the attachment, we'll go back to this a bit later. So on submit, data and advanced configuration are available in the portal management app. We'll have a look at that later too. Just click on OK, and we should have the form inserted here. And for anything to be viewed or displayed in the Power Page website, you always have to set up a permission, because by default nothing is displayed. Right. So for this form, we are setting up a permission that anyone can create and append to, because we want to add attachment later. And then we're just gonna leave it as VR to new form. That's fine. We're gonna give this to anonymous users, so anyone can come here and create a record. Imagine this is your scenario for a visitor registration that placed at your reception. So anonymous user, create, append to, and then we're just gonna go save. Click on save. And now you can preview it and go to desktop. You should be able to see this form. If you don't do this, the permission step, here it will display a message says you do not have permission to view it. So just remember that's how Power Pages works for all components. They're all tied to the permissions. Okay, so this is our new form. Next, let's visit the portal management app to have a look at the other two forms. So to do that, on your Design Studio, click on the three dots and go to Power Pages Management. Because Power Pages used to be called Power Apps Portal, I think in some of the reference within the app, it's still called Portal Management app. Now, you can see a lot of websites. On the website, this is the one we just created. What I want you to do is go to the basic forms on the left. Now we're just going to have a look at the three forms we created. So because the nature of Dataverse, right, it just keeps everything, especially in the same environment if you had multiple websites created. All the permissions and tables and your forms, lists, they all will be kept here. So that's why I like to use a prefix to help me to filter them out quickly. So VR to new form, and go enter. Now you can see, you can only see the new form. You cannot see the two other forms that are created within the Design Studio. And this new form, the reason is here is because we just added on the new forms web page. So to do that, to add the other two forms, we're going to click on new. And then what you need to do is, I'm going to call them the same. So let's say this is the add form. The table is going to be the visitor registration. It's good that I only have the one same table. Easy. Form name. So we're going to associate this add form to the add form that we created in the Design Studio view. So we'll select that. The table name, we can ignore that. Website is the same website we just created. The visitor registration, that is the one. I think I forgot to put the prefix there, but I think this is the one come up the most. Yep. Next time, remember I always put prefix on everything. So the mode for this will be edit, query string and ID. I'm not sure why I'm doing that, but that seems like the way it works. Go save, close, and we're gonna do a new form. We're gonna create a form again here for our display form. So click on save and close. Now we should see the edit form, and we'll do a new form for our VR2 display form. With display form, we're going to select the same data. We're going to select this display form, and the mode for this display form will be read-only. Resource type is query string. I think what it means is when you navigate to this record, you will just use what's being selected. It's a bit like in the Power Apps, when you go select the item, when you navigate to the browser screens, it will just open the details of that selected item. Website, let's pick this one, and we'll go save and close. So here's all our 3 forms ready to be used in your websites. If I also tried this Copilot here for the Power Apps, Power Pages portal management, it's not going to do what I just did from here to creating these forms. It's more like advisories. It will get it wrong if you try to use Copilot to do this. Next, let's create our list page for the galleries. Now you can try to use Copilot. It's not much useful. I've already tried it. So what I'm going to do is just going to duplicate this page because I want to keep the headers and the footer. Once I duplicate it, because we don't need a form, actually I'm just going to delete the whole section here. And I'm going to rename this to, this is going to be our gallery. I like the name gallery. So gallery. And next we're going to insert a list to this gallery view. So in here we're going to go list, and when you add the list you need to have the view ready, which we already did. So pick the same data table, select the data view. So the view is vr2 gallery. That's the list. The action is we're not gonna create a record, right? This is just view details. But we also want it to be able to edit record, delete record. Yeah, why not? Let's give all the actions available for authenticated users. Right, so to view details, we're gonna use the form of our view form. These are the new form. That's not the form we are after. As you can see, we have the permission problem that we cannot see the gallery. That's because we did not define the permission. So go back to pages, and you don't need to click on this update permissions. It's a bit confusing. Just select your form, and you're gonna go to the permission here. You're gonna give it permissions, a new permissions. So you can see the first anonymous user permission for the new form. Anyone can create a record. Click on the new. Let's say I want to call this modify record permissions, and we're gonna select the same table, visitor registration table. And for admins, I want to give them access for everything. So let's just go authenticated users and go save. Once you made a change to your website, you're going to click on preview again and it should load. We'll go close on this, preview, desktop. And let's wait for this page to refresh and we should be able to see the record. Still not. Let's go back to here. That's because we haven't logged in, right? Because this permission is for the authenticated users, so we need a login. But there is no login here. As you can see, this website is not actually logging. We're gonna fix that in a minute. But first, let's go back to this list, and we're fixing 2 other forms. So from here, you can actually see we have the create new record here in the gallery view. If you click on this drop down, which I can't show you now because I didn't log in, it will have the view record, add record, and delete records actions. Now to fixing the form that's involved in these actions, let's go back to the Power Page management. So come here, go to the list. You're gonna find the list you just created for your website, and lucky we have the prefix. Bring that up. I'm gonna open the list and go to the options. You're gonna scroll all the way down. Let me make this screen a little bit smaller. Scroll all the way down, and you're gonna look for the grid configurations. Right. So as you can see, we have already added a create actions. There was nothing here before we did that. So if nothing there for you, or if you don't have the option to do it within the Design Studio directly on the Power Pages, you can always come here to do it. And to enable that, you just click on this button. Now we have a Create Actions. And with the Create Actions, form is fine, so it will be a pop-up. It's not going to be a redirection of different URL web page. It's going to be a pop-up where you select basic form, and we're going to select the form, which is the VR2 new form. So that is already set. That's correct. What's not correct is in the details edit, the form option did not come up in our Power Pages Design Studio. That's why we had to select this new form. But in fact, we don't need a new form for what is this? This is the details. So for detail, we're going to use the VR2 display form. With edit, we're going to select VR2 edit form. Because those forms are already set previously in the basic form area with different form mode. Okay? And that's all you need to do. And you can click on the save and the close. So the problem now is that I don't have the signing here, so I can't show you the gallery. The list view is only enabled for authenticated users. Now I could go back to modify the permission that allow just anonymous use so you can see it, or let's just try to fix this login. So if you go to setup and come under the identity provider, you should be able to see that Azure single sign-on is turned on by default, so as the local signing. And when you create a new website, if you used any of the existing templates, they would have a sign in button on the top right. But what I discovered is when I create a website using Copilot, it sort of have a bug and it does not have the signing pages created. Instead it did that, right? That's not the signing we're looking for. And the signing is important because we need to mimic a signing session so the authenticated user can have access to this table. And what I discovered is to bring it out. Now let's go to the website. What I discovered is a display bug something. Now just watch this, right? This is what we have at the moment. This login is not the actual login. What I'm discovered is, let's delete all that and just type signing here. Watch what happens. Here you go. That is the signing page we're actually looking for. And if you click on signing, I'm gonna accept this. This is only for the first time, for a single sign-on. Now, we should be signing as the website user. Okay. The other problem, obviously, it doesn't have a sign out button, so I think there's a bit of bug with this display. But now if we go to the gallery view, we should be able to see the record. Here we go, because now we are signed in. And if you click on this drop down, you can see the details. Click on that. That's our details. If you click on edit, you can edit the record. I'm not going to submit here. You can also delete the record. You can create a new form registration right here. And that's what the signing does. Now if we go back to our pages, now let's refresh it. How can we have this signing permanently on the top? Because sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. And if we come to the signing here, still nothing here. And also in my navigations, if you check here, there's nothing new there. So I haven't solved that problem yet. My workaround is just copy this URL and go to this useless sign-in page that's already been created, and I just added this login buttons. Or what we can do is we just add a login button here. Let's say we want to add another button. So let's use Copilot here. Add a new button, and we're just gonna paste the login URL to this button, and there will be a login. Okay, the Copilot didn't really do what we want. I asked for add a new button and it add whole sections. Just disaster here. So just go undo. We don't need any of that. So let's go delete here, delete, and let's just duplicate this button. I'm not gonna customize this. I'm just gonna quickly do register now, and we're gonna rename it. Let's rename it to signing, and it's gonna link to the URL we just copied. And the bottom one is gonna be register. That's fine. And we're gonna link to the page, which is our registration page. Yes, looks ugly, but you get the idea. So if we go desktop, let's refresh all the configurations. Ignore the ugliness of this website. If we go signing, it should take us to the signing page. And if we go to the register now, it should take us to the registration page. Here we go. When Power Pages generate these input fields in the form based on your Dataverse table column, it respects your column type. For example, we had this check-in time column in our table as a date time. Now it automatically becomes a date picker. The choices column is also honored for this building column. Disclaimer we had as a toggle and now become a, no, I think we had a radio toggle, I can't remember, but it's been honored in the form as well. Now one thing I haven't touched on is this staff search, right? How we're gonna make Power Pages to look up our internal user for the visitor to choose who they are visiting, your internal staff. And I'm gonna show you how we can get rid of this permission errors here. Remember, everything in the Power Page is about permission. If you didn't create a permission for it, it won't be displayed. So let's shift gear back to our table. I want to show you the difference how we did it in the Power Apps and how we're going to do it with the Power Pages. And this is the column that we've created for Power Apps. It's a very simple text column. The reason we did text is because the way we made it work in Power Apps is using Office 365 User Search Connector. So we had that control in the Power Apps, and that connector will return the result selected by the input by the user and just feed it back straight to this text column. Now with the Power Pages, we cannot do that. We don't have those connectors to use. So I made a new column. So in our Power Pages solution, this column will be completely ignored. I create a new column here, and I made it as a lookup column as data type. And the table I'm using is the user table from the Dataverse or from the Dynamics 365. So let me show you what that table is. So we're going to go to Power Apps, go to the tables, and we'll go to all and select our user table. So the user table is actually called the system user table. System, let's do system user, should be only one come up. So that is the user table. Schema name is system user. Let's open that. So basically this user table, you don't need to sync it or something. It automatically have all the users that system created. You can see it with hash in front of it. And also your staff users. But they will only appear here when they have the Dataverse license. So that is the only catch you need to consider. For me, I just want to prove a concept. It's an easy solution for me. All my users are Dataverse licensed, so they will be appeared here. Now this view obviously is really bad. You don't want your visitor to see all these nonsense users. So if you have a look at the view of this table, there are lots of them, right? But the view we are going to use in our app is called Enable User. So basically the Enable User view only gonna highlight your AD users that has the Dataverse license assigned to it. Now because all my users have Dataverse license assigned to it, they will be displayed here. So next, we're gonna go back to our pages. We're gonna define a view, and also we're gonna fix up the permissions. To fix up the permissions, let's go to the setup, table permissions. So here we're gonna create a new permission for our table. Now which table? It's not the table we're using for the website, it's the actual user table we are quoting to do the user search. So let's say staff lookup. You can call it whatever you want. That's my permission. And we want authenticated users to be able to just read the information from this table. So let's try that. We're gonna click on the pages and go preview. Preview, you will load the latest configurations. And let's click on this registration form in our website. Go search. Here you go. So now the permission area is gone. You can see all the users. But this is not the view we want, right? This is the view that has everybody. We want to use the enable the user view. So to do that, you're gonna go to the portal management app. Sorry, not the portal management app. Just go to your pages and select on your data. Pick your table and go to your form here. Now the form we're talking about is this new form because we were at the registration page. Now you're gonna select your field. So the field is the staff search. So we're gonna go highlight the field, this one here, staff search. Check the property tab on your right, and if you go all the way, I think it's under display. It's under display. So default view. You're gonna change this default view to the one you want, which is the enabled user. Right, and then we're gonna go save and publish. Next, go back to your pages. Let's do a sync. Save and publish. We'll sync it and we go to preview. Wait for the page to be refreshed. And we'll click on search again. This time it should only show up your licensed user without any other system user. Here we go. So this is how you achieve the similar feature in the Power Pages regarding the staff internal lookup compared to the Power Apps. To clean up your registration or signing page, you can go to the settings setup here. Go to your identity provider. For example, I want to turn off the local signing. Just go 3 dots, go disable. And let's go preview again. And we just want to, for most companies, you just want to leave the Azure single sign-on, right? You don't want anything else. So we want to get rid of this bit, and we also want to get rid of the invitation. Now there's no settings within this Design Studio to get rid of the invitations. So how do we do that? What we need to do is go to your site settings in the Power Page Management. Go to site settings, pick your website. Under the site settings, you're gonna look for registration/enabled and registration/invitation enabled. Change both value from true to false, and you're gonna save and close that. Do a sync and see what we can get rid of. Again, not all settings are available in the Power Pages Design Studio, but it's improving at a rapid pace. Let's click on preview and see. Now, while we're waiting for that, let's wrap up this real quick. We've created a very basic website using Power Pages. We try to use Copilot, but as you can see, it's not very useful in terms of delivering certain functions, but you can use it to certainly change the look and feel of it, some cosmetic stuff. But it's changing rapidly and getting improved every day, so hopefully it's getting better, and this is the worst we're gonna get. I know if you come from a very experienced web design background, probably use Wix or Squarespace a lot, you won't be impressed by any of that. All these clunky design. Now it's already better, but the clunky design of Power Apps portal, the integration with Dynamic 365, it's not pretty and it's not fluid when you design a website. But hopefully it will get better and become better product. Let's click on the signing again. Here you go. So the registration has disappeared and the invitation has also disappeared. In this video, we have learned a little bit about Power Pages. Previously, it was called Power Apps Portal, and we try to use Copilot as well, see what it cannot do. And then we had a bit of taste of the Power Page Management Portal, which is part of the Dynamics 365. More and more settings will be migrated to the Power Pages Design Studio, as you can see here, and hopefully it will get better from here. So thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.